I'm going to demonstrate the CVE-2025-32463 exploit, also known as chroot to root. This is a Linux privilege escalation exploit that allows a low-level user to gain a root shell by attacking vulnerable versions of Sudo. This affects Sudo versions 1.9.14 through 1.9.17. 1.9.14 was released in June of 2023, and it was fixed in June of 2025, so that's 2 years out in the wild. I'm going to demonstrate this in a container that has a vulnerable version of Sudo. So first, to find out the version, we do sudo tac version, and we can see it's 1.9.16p2. If we go to the NIST page, it has the information on there, and right here, it shows the vulnerable versions. As well, you can find on exploit.db the actual exploit code. So it's a pretty simple exploit. I will show the text. It's not very long. It writes C code that writes a shell, and then it exploits the way that this version of Sudo compiles, and it will compile this C code on the machine. So I am a normal user. If I try to do any sudo commands, it's asking for a password. If I use the exploit, though, instant root shell. There are a few things I want to mention first. This exploit does not show up in linps or other enumeration scripts I found. So if you're not paying attention, then you might miss this altogether. So I'll go ahead and just demonstrate that. Okay. If we go up to the top, we'll show this in red, but there's no indication that it's this exact exploit. And an exploit suggester, it's not showing up here either. So just something to keep in mind to manually check that sudo version. Another thing is that GCC has to be on the system, which is not always the case if you're pen testing certain systems. So if I see right here, we have GCC. I was able to find a version of the exploit, though, that does not require GCC. It's this GitHub right here, and basically all the versions of this are compiled for the architecture, so there will be no need to actually use GCC on the system. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. First, I will become root again so that I can get rid of GCC. To do that, I do sudo apt purge GCC. It will get rid of that. We can see now, if I do which GCC, nothing shows up. I'll exit out of that. I'm a normal user again. And then if I try to do the same exploit, we can see there's an error right here saying GCC command not found, and it is asking for the sudo password. Now I'll go to the version that does not require GCC. And there's a Python version and a just bash version. I'm just going to use the bash script. So get root.sh, and it detected the architecture. It grabbed the compiled ones from architecture dynamic, and you can see I am root again. So not too bad. It doesn't affect the system in any long-term negative impactful ways.